Hello again, guys. It's Yago Chia here back with another what if video. Guys, I'm starting a new what if right now. It's a very exciting what if. I've been processing this idea for over a month now, and I know it's gonna be a great what if. So please enjoy. This is what if Naruto had the Force and joined the dark side. Part one. Let's get straight into this video, guys. So, guys, we're gonna start this what if at the Sasuke retrieval arc. Naruto like defeats Sasuke, like utterly defeats Sasuke and knocks him out. Naruto then like goes back there in Leaf Village. He's not heading back. He meets Kakashi halfway. Kakashi then takes Naruto from Sasuke from Naruto. As he sees, Sasuke is like wounded but not that serious. He then looks at Naruto. He's in shock. He sees Naruto as like a 23 like foot hole in his chest, but Naruto is soldiering on. So Kakashi quickly then grabs Naruto and swooshes towards the Leaf Village. You know, as soon as Naruto arrives at the Leaf Village, Sakura sees Sasuke, she rushes at Sasuke and she heals him. Naruto says, Sakura, I fulfilled my promise. As Sakura gets pissed, seeing Sasuke in this condition, and she goes and punches Naruto in the chest, Naruto is in shock. Naruto, you bugger, I told you to bring back Sasuke, not wounded. Bring him back in perfect condition, not half dead. You know, Ino is also doing the same thing. As the rookie 11, they'd be looking at Naruto, like this guy is a demon. Sakurai then says like a word which is that's why you're a demon, no one loves you. You expect me to go out with you, huh? I'll never go out with demon like you, Sakura says. You know, Naruto starts to feel this rage boiling up inside of him. He's getting pretty pissed. He's so angry, He just clenches his fist, as he then suddenly just passes out. So now he sees Naruto on the floor, bleeding as she rises at Naruto like that's a godsend. She then starts to heal Naruto's chest, as then like 3 days later Naruto wakes up. You know. Unknown to Naruto, the nine tails inside Naruto then says, Hey, Naruto. As Naruto then goes into his mind saying, Oh, Kurama, what's up? Naruto, I'm very sorry to say that you're being banished from the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto then says, so it's about time they banished me then. Guess we're just gonna have to, to see what we'll do. He says, sorry about the noise, guys, my family's in the house. And, they're pretty annoying. So, Naruto then, like, goes to Tsunade's office as he drops off the necklace, as he then dips from the village. Unknown to him, he's been followed by tons of root anbu. After, Naruto's, like, a few kilometers away from the Hidden Leaf Village, the root anbu jump on Naruto. Naruto sees like he has no source of escape, as he like does 1,000 shadow clones and dips. Other shadow clones are like running to different directions, The arm with a special seal on Naruto which like sees where he is. Like they use the Ninetales radiation chakra to find him. So they find Naruto like towards like the edge of the cliff, Is that like ha 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 Brad, you're cornered, there's no way you can go. Naruto's like, oh, is that so? I'd rather end my life than save that pig, he says as he jumps off. The aunt like, damn it. Lord Danzo's not gonna be pleased with this, as they go back there in Leaf Village without even bothering to check if, Naruto is dead. So, Naruto, as he hits the water, then like goes into a comatose state, Kurama puts him in the comatose state, as Nature's body starts like floating. So, after like a few minutes of floating, down this river, Naruto suddenly then gets grabbed out of the water by a metallic droid. So, this droid is known as like C3PO, but yeah, it's like a C3PO. It grabs Naruto. But this one is a more advanced C3PO, which can like doesn't like walk weirdly like an android, like those androids from Dragon Ball, it's like that. So C3PO takes Naruto like to his master's base. C3PO opens the door and puts Naruto inside. 3 days later, Naruto wakes up. You know, as Naruto wakes up, he like sees this metallic thing staring at him, which is a humanoid figure, but it looks robotic. And says, who are you? Yes, the droid and says, oh, hello, young master. My name is C3PO. As you know, it says, young master. Okay. And then it says, where am I? As you know, the droid then explains, oh, you at my master's cave. He told me to bring you here. As you know, and says, where is your master? As you know, suddenly, like, Master Raven's holocron starts glowing. As you know, an image of him comes out. Master Raven is just like sitting in a meditative stance and says, huh, hello there, young Naruto. As you know, and says, hello there. Thank you for saving me. And Nathan says, oh, it's no problem. As you know, Naruto and Master Raven began talking. As you know, he like begins to understand, how Naruto got banished and how he was treated. Naruto has like a lot of sadness and anger, in Master Raven's mouth. So this is the perfect catalyst. He then like introduces Naruto like to the ways of the Force. So he then offers Naruto to train him, and so Naruto can earn a lot of power. Naruto then agrees to this, as his training begins. So time skip 3 years. The Iron Leaf hasn't been the same, since Naruto left without saying goodbye. You know, Naruto was supposed to tell Naruto that he was banished, but he left before she could say anything. So Naruto then suspected, that Naruto already knew that he was being banished, so he decided to leave without anyone knowing about it. So, flashback before the time skip, Danzo is pissed, that the Jinchuriki is dead, as he no longer has the power, to take over the Indi village. But Danzo then sighs to himself and says, we just have to wait for the Ninetales to resurface again. Of course, Danzo's running out of Sharingan to keep him alive, Danzo's pretty old, running out of the Sharingans to keep him alive. So, back to the present with Naruto. Naruto's training has progressed very well, as he has mastered all, the lightsaber forms. He has mastered all of them 1 to 9. Naruto is pretty good at all those forms, standard forms, and he's a master. Naruto also developed, his own special forms to use, like, I'm not gonna say them now, but yeah, they're pretty special. So, Naruto of these 3 years, he has been educated, in the ways of the Sith. He was educated, how to control his power, how, like, education. So, Master Raven also taught Naruto, like, how to fly, a ship. So Naruto is the basic craft on how to fly a ship, So, Master Raven then calls Naruto to, like, the podium, as Naruto then goes and says, yes, my master. Raven then says, Naruto, I need you to do something for me, since your training is not complete. I need you to destroy my holocron. Naruto then gasps, but master, if I destroy your holocron, you... Naruto says, no, Naruto. I have another holocron, It's at Camino. That's where my army is. That holocron will give you access to all my armies and everything. Naruto then says, yes, my master. Naruto then says, very well, my master. Thank you for all your teachings. As Raven then says, yeah, Naruto, by the way, there's also another Sith in this universe. Defeat him and end the title of the Sith. Bring back the Sith to its full glory. Hail the Sith, as Naruto then says, hail the Sith, as he destroys, his master's holocron. So, Naruto then like goes to C3PO. He says, C3PO, open the cargo bay doors. As C3PO like opens, the base's doors. Naruto then boards, a favorite ship. This ship is like the Millennium Falcon, but this ship is better. I'm gonna talk about that in a bit. So flashback to Master Raven's prime. Master Raven, was like going around the galaxy conquering it, at first, but he then got defeated by some Jedi. Is then dipped. Sorry about the pause, guys. I've been called. So back to the video. So back in Master Raven's prime, he's like going around the galaxy looking for a ship. He had his current ship, but this current ship was breaking down. So as he was going around, he then went like to an impound for ships. As he went in the impound, he then like traded in his ship which he had, which was like a very up-to-date ship for an older looking ship, which was the Millennium Falcon. So Master Raven looked at this ship with a lot of interest in his eyes. He then said, I want that ship. As the guy then said, the Millennium Falcon. Very well. As they traded ships. Master Raven boarded the ship, with C-3PO as they went off. So that's the history of the ship. So, Naruto then boarded the ship, C-3PO then joined him as a co-pilot. Naruto then said, C-3PO, take us to Kamino. As the ship then lifted off, as Naruto then pointed at the base. C-3PO also destroyed the base as well. The C-3PO then pressed the detonator as the base then blew up. It was like further away from most villages, so no one would notice. So Naruto then starts piloting the ship out of the atmosphere. As he goes out of the atmosphere, they then start like to move bit by bit in the galaxy. Naruto is seeing all the different planets. He sees the sun, the moon, Jupiter, Mars, all the planets, as he keeps on like going. C-3PO then activates hyperspace, as they then zoom out, disappearing. So as this like is happening, he continues like this journey to Kamino. Time skip 3 days later. Naruto arrives at Kamino. As the Kaminos are there to like welcome him as they see the ship. They immediately like know who is here. As they think it's Master Raven. The leader of the Caminos then comes out and says, Master Raven, so you've come, if you graced us with your presence. And says, oh, I'm sorry, but my master is dead. My master sent me in his place. And then I say, what is your name? And he says, oh, I am Starkiller. So the leader of the Caminos then says, Lord Starkiller, the armies are ready. Rather than grins like a madman, knowing like this plan is hard to come into fruition. So Naruto then heads with the Kamino inside as they begin to talk business. So the army had already been paid for by Master Raven, like using all the money he had. He had already paid for the armies. He had bought tons of ships, built star destroyers, all those things. So Naruto was pretty happy. So in total, Naruto had about 9 trillion stormtroopers and about 1 million star destroyers and ships and TIE fighters and all that alike. So Naruto's empire was pretty big, but it hasn't started yet. Naruto then said, tell all commanders of the ships to take off. As the commanders of the ships then like take off in their ships. Naruto then heads over to the biggest ship which is there, the Super Star Destroyer. Darth Vader's Super Star Destroyer, guys. I'll show you a picture of it if you don't know. He heads over to that Star Destroyer, as he then like parks, his Millennium Falcon inside, he then assigns like a mechanic, to upgrade the Millennium Falcon from its current technology to what is present as of right now. The mechanic quickly goes to work, as he doesn't want to disappoint his master. So Naruto, like as he now has his armies, he then like journeys through the galaxy with a quarter of them, 1/4 of them. He leaves some of them, like parked somewhere in the outer rim, like which is hidden, but he still keeps contact with them, just in case things might go sideways. So Naruto is in his super class Star Destroyer, as there are like 6 Star Destroyers behind him, which are like loaded with stormtroopers and TIE fighters. So at this point, he's heading over back to his home planet, Elemental Prime. So before Naruto arrives at Elemental Prime, he notices something which is just like floating in space. He then tells, his first officer, to like zoom in on that item, It's not a sees, the Star Forge, which is like just floating. But then sees, huh, that looks like a forge. Huh, could it be? As not then searches through the archives, of Master Raven and finds its name, the Star Forge. He immediately like tells, one of the Star Destroyers, to use a tractor beam on the Star Forge and, take it back, to where all his other ships are and get the Star Forge repaired. The Star Destroyer like does as Naruto says, it's the Star Destroyer uses a tractor beam on the Star Forge and takes it away. Back, to Naruto. Naruto then continues his journey to Elemental Prime. A day later, he arrives at Elemental Prime. Naruto like makes quick work, as he sends, these four, Star Destroyers, to go around like Elemental Prime and conquer all the hidden villages. So the commanders swiftly get to work as not as a special task force, to take care of all the Kages and everything. So Naruto heads personally to the Hidden Leaf villages. He has a personal vendetta with it. Point of view of the other Kages. The other Kages see a shadow in their villages as they go outside. They then see this metallic floating thing, which they do not even understand what the fuck it is. As things start to drop out of it and start shooting. The shinobi start firing fireball jutsu, but it's no use, as they see like they're getting invaded. Then white beings, wearing bucket looking things on their heads start shooting at, people. As the people then get cornered. The Kages, instinctively like charge these people for trying to destroy the village, but the Kages, then get bound up and tied up. As they like see there's no way of escape. I'm gonna pause the video for a few seconds, guys. Sorry for the pause, guys. So Naruto is like conquered all the hidden villages at this point, as the Kages can't do shit. So the Kages are then transported to the Hidden Leaf Village council room. So Naruto is in the council room at this point. Flashback. Naruto arrived at the Hidden Leaf Village. He like swiftly, went and dealt with all the troublesome shinobi as they like got knocked out. The stormtroopers put their weapons on stun as they knocked out all the shinobi. Naruto then went to the Hokage, was late Tsunade and said, "Granny, I'm back." As Tsunade sees Naruto and she's in shock. "Naruto, how? Jiraiya looked all over for you. We thought you were dead." Naruto says, "I'm not dead." So Naruto then tells Tsunade about his plan. As Tsunade supports Naruto. She's his godmother, so it's an obvious case she's gonna support him. As when the Anbu wake up, they charge at Naruto. Tsunade and say, "Stop, he's not an enemy, he's a friend." As Danzo then pulls up with his root Anbu and says, "Ninetales Jinjuri, you'll finally come. I'll make you my weapon." Danzo doesn't even finish the word weapon. Naruto chokes him and kills him right then and there. Tsunade then tells some of it be like to kill off all the root Anbu. The root Anbu then killed off as Naruto then heads into one of Danzo's bases. As Naruto heads over into Danzo's bases, he finds a bar tank, as he like sees there's a woman inside and she has red hair. Naruto then looks at the woman's features. He sees like it's his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto tells his stormtroopers to take her out of the tank and reawaken her. While this is happening, Naruto feels another presence calling to him. As Naruto then heads over to the Yuga compound. He goes into the Yuga compound and he sees Hiyashi beating on Hinata. This gets him pissed as he takes out his lightsaber and cuts Hiyashi's hands. As Hiyashi is on the ground, screaming at the loss of his hands. Naruto then hugs Hinata and kisses her on the forehead and says, "I'm sorry, Hinata. I should have come earlier. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." Hinata then smiles at her and says, "Naruto, I finally see." She doesn't finish the word, Naruto knocks her out and gives her to, the stormtroopers. So they take her to a medical center in the ship. So, Naruto then goes to Tsunade to the council room. As Naruto then begins to talk with Tsunade, saying like what he wants to do with the planet, and how he's gonna better, this is gonna be the betterment for the village and all that stuff. So all the Kages then arrive and then say, Tsunade, what's the meaning of this? And Tsunade says, no, speak to my grandson. So Naruto then uses the force to manipulate the Kages into agreeing on what Naruto wants to do. As the Kages they agree to Naruto and give him ultimate rule over the villages. So Tsunade is like not a second in command at this point. All the Kages agree. So Naruto then like tells one of his ships, to bring down supplies and technological enhancements and all that stuff down. As all the hidden villages, get all these technological advancements and they're being set up. Naruto then calls for Jirai, and Jirai comes and says, "Oh, hello Naruto, how can I help?" I then ask Jirai where the Akatsuki is. As Jirai knows the location, says they're in the Rain Village. Naruto and his best stormtroopers head over there with Jiraiya and as well. As they're heading over there, they pull up the Rain Village. They start shooting. Pain comes out and says, Naruto's Jinchuriki, you come with us as your past no match for him. God! He doesn't finish the word God, Naruto chokes him and kills Tendo Pain right then and then. Nagato sees this and he sends like his 5 parts remaining. As the parts then go to attack Nagato. Conan, she feels this connection towards Naruto, so, Naruto then tells Conan that, she's like, he's something to him, she's something important to him. As Conan just gets the feeling, she then takes Sukuna and stabs Nagato into the neck. Nagato then dies. But before he dies, says, Conan, why? And then she then says, your plan to bring peace will never work. She then kills Nagato off. Naruto then goes, to where Nagato's body is. As he takes out the Rinnegan. And he then says, you did well, Conan. So Naruto used this manipulation to manipulate Conan to do his bidding. So she had actually done what Naruto wanted her to do. So Naruto, then like goes to his ship with Conan. As they blow up the Rain Village, leaving nothing left but just bare land. The rain that Nagato used like to clog the village stops raining, as he's now dead. But this was some shit's gonna change. So Naruto is back on his ship, as he like goes to the medbay and says, droid, change my eyes with these ones. As the droid nods. He then changes Naruto's eyes with the Rinnegan, so Naruto is temporarily having a blindfold over his eyes. Time skip 3 months later. All the hidden villages, have like adapted, to the stormtrooper system as they have joined, Naruto's army. As Naruto's army is now grown. He practically has control for the whole world right now. So Naruto then like asks the Kages for all the Jinchuriki and Biju, and the Kages like do this immensely fast as they bring all 9 Bijus, to Naruto. Naruto then unseals, the 9 tails, as he then summons the ghetto statue. He summons the ghetto statue and shoves all the Biju inside without even a care. Naruto, then like saves a small bit of Kurama, Kurama is his friend, it's like his friend of Naruto. Naruto, then like makes the 10 tails reform, as he then like calls upon Black Zetsu, Black Zetsu pulls up and binds himself to the 10 tails, The 10 tails then transforms into Kaguya or Tsutsuki, now Kaguya then sees Naruto and she rushes at Naruto, trying to kill him because he has the Rinnegan, which reminds you of Hagoromo. Naruto then stops Kaguya as he then tells her who he is and what he has done for her. As Kaguya then thanks him. Kaguya then says like she wants to take back all chakra, but Naruto says no, you're not taking back any chakra. As I am the ruler of this planet and I do what as I please, Naruto says to her. Kaguya sees that Naruto's got a lot of power, more than her. She then decides to like settle down and does not want to take back the chakra. Big win for Naruto. So on the other side of the galaxy with the Sith Lord. The Sith Lord at this point, has been feeling this disturbance in the force, and it's continually growing. This disturbance is like growing, to the point where he can sense it. He then calls upon his apprentice, to say, "My apprentice, do you sense this great disturbance in the force?" As his apprentice nods. "It seems there is another Sith Lord in town," Master Sidious says, you know, his apprentice. So like the Sith Lord on the other side of the galaxy, he's like, Master Sidious. And the other, his apprentice, is like was it General Grievous, and I'm not sure the other guy. If you guys have his name, like give it in chat. Yeah, it was Count Dooku. Yeah, Count Dooku. So back with Naruto. Naruto has control for the planet. He's become like his home base. He has also built like a space station outside of the planet's outer rim. This is a space station and the trading port there. So Naruto then like hears like of the wars which are going on, which are the Clone Wars. He decides to take one storm, one like cruiser, like storm cruiser, to where this war is going on. He like feels it, in the force that there's a war going on. Perspective of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is like commanding his forces of the clone troopers, to protect and win the war. As they're fighting against the droids. The droids, have like killed most of Obi-Wan's forces. As Obi-Wan is then cornered. He's like asking for backup, but there's no backup in reach. The backup is still at Coruscant, just refueling. So Obi-Wan thinks like he's gonna die at this point, Same with Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka. They're thinking that their death is near. But surprisingly, a big cruiser comes in, which is the Sith sign on it. Is they guys and say even the Sith is coming to war. But suddenly the Sith destroyer starts firing at the droids. If the droids get destroyed, stormtroopers wearing black armor rush out, which start shooting at the droids. Obi-Wan then commands his forces, to make like one final push and take out the droids. Sees he's getting helped, but he's shocked. Anakin Skywalker is also shocked, that the Sith is helping him. Suddenly, Naruto like pulls up of and says, "It seems you did not have any backup, Jedi." Naruto says. Obi-Wan then draws his right hand and says, "Sith, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be helping your friends, the droids?" And Naruto says, "No. That Sith is the Fate Sith. It's a Sith which is uncommandable. It does not have any rules and regulations. I am the Empire of my own Sith. My Sith Empire is much different than this one." So Naruto and Obi-Wan began like to talk for a bit, they continue like destroying the droids. Half an hour later, all the droids have been defeated, as they are like being collected, by Naruto's Star Destroyer. They are gonna be used as metal, for reprocessing or something like that. They're gonna use the components to make other things. So Obi-Wan then says like he wants, Naruto to go and meet with the Jedi Council. Naruto then nods, as he then like takes his Millennium Falcon and invites, the Jedi on. As he heads over, to Coruscant where the Jedi Temple is. Time skip, Coruscant. Naruto's arrived, and the Jedi has already been notified of Naruto's presence. Naruto then arrives and he goes to the council chambers of the Jedi. All the Jedi Masters are there, and Obi-Wan then goes in and takes a seat. So the doors are then closed. Ahsoka and Anakin are outside of the door just in case some shit happens. Sorry about that, guys. So Master Yoda then says, young one, strong with the Force are you?" And then says, "Thank you, Maimo, thank you." Naruto says, "So what have I been summoned for?" So the Master Yoda then says, "You wanna know why like you helped in the war instead of helping the Sith win the war?" Naruto then says, "No. the Sith which you're currently facing is no morals, as you know. My master taught me of the real Sith and its morality. So the Jedi are surprised, that the Sith have like morals, they just don't do things based on feeling. Naruto then like has the question for the Jedi, is then asked the Jedi a question. Master Jedi, I have a question to ask of you, notices. Master Yoda nods and says, very well. We will see if we can answer this question of yours. Naruto then asks the Jedi, what they fight for. The Jedi then say we fight for, the peace and stability of the galaxy. Naruto then says, what about your families? As the Jedi raise an eyebrow at this. Naruto then says, what exactly are you fighting for? Are you just fighting for the galaxy and all at the expense of your family? Do you not have families? Do you not protect those families? If you had to choose between your family and protecting the galaxy, what would you choose? As some of the Jedi are now panicking, as they like start to see things in a new whole light. Master Yoda then is surprised, like he's shocked, he didn't like think of things this way. Of all the years of him being, a Jedi master, he hasn't like thought of things in such a way. So Naruto then offers his help in the war, to the Republic and says, I'll help in this war. But if I suffer too many losses and the Republic doesn't get its shit together, I'm quitting. Naruto says, they agree. So after this, Naruto then boards, his Millennium Falcon ready to depart. But he's then, stopped by, Anakin Skywalker, Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka. Sorry about that, guys. As they they like wanna go and see Naruto's home planet where he is bases. Naruto then thinks, so they're investigating me very well. Naruto says. He'd already like told, Tsunade like was running his home base, like, to fix things up just in case things might go south. So he then bought the Millennium Falcon, and Naruto goes into hyperspace as they're heading towards Elemental Prime. So guys, I'm gonna leave this video. I hope you like this what if. I've really enjoyed making this video. I have lots of parts coming up. These things are gonna get really interesting. There's gonna be lots of betrayal, lots of revenge moments. It's gonna be a great what if, guys. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. If I can get at least 15 likes to continue the story, I'll continue this video. 15 likes, guys, that's all I'm asking. 15 likes. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and peace out, guys.